Good morning, students. Welcome to the physics class. In this session, we will study chapter number 4 of class 12th. And the name of chapter is capacitors and dielectrics. So, first of all, we will discuss here what is our content in this chapter. So, in this chapter, we will study conductors and insulators, dielectrics, polarization power, capacitor of a capacitance, combination of capacitors, parallel and series combination, and in the last we will study the most important chapter, important topic, which is electrical energy in a capacitor. So these are the content which will be studied in this session. Okay, so start, students. Our first topic is conductors and insulators. So as you know that those materials which can allow electricity easily, they are called conductors. All metals, all wires are the examples of conductors. So conductors are those materials which can be easily flow electricity. Now we will discuss here insulators. Insulators are those materials which cannot allow to flow current in the conductor. For example, glass, hard rubber, plastics, mica, wax, paper, dry wood are the examples of insulators. When we provide electricity in that substances, then they cannot flow this current further. That means they are called insulators. Now, there is an important topic. Insulators are also called dielectrics. In some condition, we can say that insulators are equivalent to dielectrics because in the case of insulators, current cannot be drawn. But in the case of dielectrics, in some conditions, some currents or some electric field can be applied. So in some condition, we can say that insulators are also called dielectrics. Now student, we will discuss capacitance of a conductor. As we know that when we provide charge to any conductor, then its potential difference rises. It means that we can say that charge applied to the conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference. So we can write Q is equal to CV, where C is a constant known as capacitance of a capacitor. So by this formula we can find the value of C. So it will be C is equal to Q upon V. By the above formula, we can define the capacitance of a capacitor. So it is defined as the rate of flow of charge in any conductor to the potential difference rises in that conductor. Units of capacitance. The main unit of capacitance is farad, and 1 farad is equal to 1 coulomb per volt. Capacitance of a conductor is 1 farad if a charge of 1 coulomb raises the potential of 1 volt. Other units are also available. 1 microfarad is equal to 10 to power minus 6 farad. 1 nanofarad is equal to 10 to power minus 9 farad, and 1 picofarad is equal to 10 to power minus 12 farad. Now, the dimension of capacitance is M minus 1 L minus 2 T4 A2, and it will be simply find out with the help of putting the formula, and the formula is ampere into second square upon Newton into meter. Now student, we will discuss here capacitance of an isolated spherical conductor. As you know that isolated means if we remove all the facilities of anyone from outer side, then we can say that it is isolated. In the same way, if we don't supply any types of energy to any conductor, then this conductor is said to be isolated. Here, see this see this diagram. In this diagram, there is a conductor which have charge plus Q, and it is directly disconnected to outer side. That means there will be no transfer of heat take place from the outside. Then this conductor is said to be isolated. And here we have to find the capacitance of that conductor. So first of all we will find the potential, and we know that potential is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q upon a, where q is the charge which is given on the conductor and a is the radius of that conductor, and we know that c is equal to q upon v. So on putting the value of v in this formula, we get c is equal to 4 pi epsilon naught a farad. So this is the required formula for the capacitance of an isolated capacitor. Now student, we will discuss the most important topic in this chapter, potential energy of a charge capacitor. As we know that when we provide a potential difference to any conductor, then it will be V is equal to Q upon C, where Q is the total charge supplied to the conductor and C is the capacitance and V is the potential difference. So in order to displace a small amount of charge, we have to do a small work done. The small work done, dW is equal to V into dQ, and on putting the value of V, it will be Q upon C into dQ. But here we have to find the total work done because we have to find the total energy stored in the conductor. So W is equal to, on integrating we get 1 upon C integration 0 to Q, Q into dQ. Now putting the value of C, we get 1 upon C in bracket q square upon 2 and apply the limit 0 to q. So on putting the limit we get 1 upon 2 q square by c. So the first formula will be u is equal to 1 upon 2 q square upon c. Here u and w both are same because we know that the work is considered as a energy. So electrical energy u is equal to 1 upon 2 c v square. Now student, we will discuss here capacitor. Capacitor, it is an arrangement which is given in the figure. When we take two plates and the first plate is directly connected to a source and the second plate is connected to the earth, then this arrangement is said to be capacitor. So for the capacitor there should be two plates, and first plate should be positive charge because it is directly connected to the source, and the second plate, when its outer side becomes positive due to induction, then it will be connected to the earth. Due to high power there will be no damage take place, that's why it is connected to the earth. So this arrangement is known as capacitor. Now capacitance of a capacitor depends on some following points, and it is important because generally it is asked in the board examination. So there are some factors on which the capacitance of a capacitor depends, which are: first, on the area of a plate. So capacitance of a capacitor is directly proportional to the area of a plate. C is directly proportional to A. So capacitance of a capacitor is directly proportional to the area of a plate. It means that if the plates are thick, then the capacitance will be more, and if we use the plates are thin, then the capacitance will be minimum. Now the second topic is on the distance between the plates. Students, C is inversely proportional to D. D means the separation between the plates. If we place the both two parallel plates at a more distance, then the capacitance will be small, and when the distance is small, then the capacitance will be more. Now the next topic is on the medium between the capacitance. Means if we place a different mediums between the plates, then capacitance is directly proportional to the dielectric constant of that mediums. It means that if the dielectric is more of the medium which is placed between the plates, then capacitance will be more, otherwise it will be small. Student, The capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor is the most important topic, and it is generally asked in the board examination. So in this topic we will take a capacitance, which is a parallel plate, means it have a two parallel plates, and the first plate is directly connected to the source and second plate is connected to the earth. When we applying the potential, so first plate becomes positive due to induction, the second plate becomes negative, and the outer side of the second plate is becomes positive and it is directly connected to the earth. So here we have to find the capacitance of parallel plate capacitor, where d is the distance between two plates. So first of all we will find the electric field between the plates. So as we know that electric field between the plates is E is equal to sigma upon K epsilon naught, and this formula is also used in the chapter number 2, which is Gauss theorem. So by putting this formula we get E is equal to Q upon K epsilon naught A, where Q is the charge and sigma is the surface charge density and K is the dielectric constant. And we know that E is equal to V upon D, where V is the potential, V is equal to QD upon K epsilon naught A, and this value on putting C is equal to Q upon V, we get the required formula, and the required formula of parallel plate capacitor is C is equal to K epsilon naught A upon small d. If there is no dielectric medium is placed, then K will be 1, because for the air or vacuum it will be 1. Now the next topic is capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor with dielectric slab between the plates. It means that if we take a parallel plate capacitor and placed some dielectric material between the plates, then its capacitance will be changed and it will be according to this. So first of all we will find E naught, where E naught is the electric field due to air. So Q upon epsilon naught A. In the same way we will find electric field due to dielectric medium, so it will be Q upon K epsilon naught A. Now we will find the total potential. It means that potential due to air and potential due to dielectric materials. So it will be V is equal to E naught D minus T plus E I into T. On putting the values of E naught and ET, we get C is equal to Q upon V, where V is equal to Q upon epsilon naught A in bracket D minus T plus T upon K. So on putting these values we get the required formula, C is equal to epsilon naught A upon D minus T plus T upon K. So this is the main formula, and now we will applying some conditions on this formula. So case number 1, if the dielectric slab fills the entire space, it means that between the plates only dielectric material is placed. There is no air. In this case, we can put T is equal to D, and on putting the value, we get C is equal to K epsilon naught A upon D, because D minus D will be cancelled out. The case 2, if only vacuum or air is placed between the plate, that means there will be no dielectric material space. In this case, the capacitance will be C naught equals to epsilon naught A upon D. And the third case is if we place a dielectric substance between the plates whose dielectric constant is infinite, means maximum. In this case, C is equal to epsilon naught A upon D minus T. So these are the three main conditions which can be used in the capacitance. Now the combination of capacitance, it is also important. There are two combination of capacitance. First, series combination, and in the case of series combination you can see from the figure there are three capacitors which are connected in series. First plate is directly connected to the source, second plate is connected to the first plate of a capacitor, and the second plate of the second capacitor is connected to the first plate of a third capacitor, and the outer plate of the third capacitor is connected to the earth. So this combination is known as series combination. As we know that in the series combination the charges are same but the potential difference are different. So here we will find V1, V2 and V3. So these are the potential, and it will be Q upon C1, Q upon C2 and Q upon C3. Now Total potential will be V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. On putting these values, we get Q upon C1 plus Q upon C2 plus Q upon C3. So finally, we get a formula Q upon C is equal to Q upon C1 plus Q upon C2 plus Q upon C3. So on putting the values, we get 1 upon C is equal to 1 upon C1 plus 1 upon C2 plus 1 upon C3, where C is the equivalent capacitance of the combination and C1, C2, C3 are the capacitance of individual capacitors. Now student, in the case of parallel combination, you can see in the diagram there are three capacitors which are connected in parallel, C1, C2, C3, and they have a different charges Q1, Q2, Q3 because they all are individually connected to a source. But here the potential difference is same, and the second plates of all the capacitors are directly connected to the earth. So here we will find Q1, Q2, Q3 because they are different, and on putting the total charge Q is equal to Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3, we get V in bracket common C1 plus C2 plus C3. So the required formula here will be C is equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3. So these are the two important formulas which are generally used in the numerical problems. This topic we have study above the energy stored in the capacitor. So here we don't discuss here the same topic. Now dielectrics. What is dielectrics? A dielectric is an insulated material in which all the electrons are tightly bonded to the nuclei of the atoms. They are called dielectrics. And what is dielectric constant? As we know that when we placed any material between the plates, then it have a fixed value. That fixed value is known as dielectric constant, and it is generally represented by C is equal to K into C naught, where K is a dielectric constant. So K is equal to C upon C naught, where C naught is the capacitance due to air and C is the capacitance due to any dielectric material. Now student, the next topic is polar and non-polar dielectric nuclei. So polar and non-polar nuclei, dielectric nuclei means there are some examples like HCl, CO, H2O, NH3. These are the examples of polar dielectric substances. It means that they are the substances where the polarity is separately, means plus and minus both charges are separately take place. These are called polar dielectric materials or molecules. In the case of non-polar, we have some example like H2, N2, O2, CO2, CH4, CCl4. These are the examples of non-polar. It means that here polarity will be concentrated, means it will be mixed. So we can say that these are the examples of non-polar dielectric constant. So student, these are the important topics which was discussed in this topic in this video. So student, please revise this chapter very well and the topics of this chapter, because this is the important chapter and there are some questions and some numerical problems which are generally asked in the board examination. So thank you very much.